transition on the future of this industry. So maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I made a video just kind of going over 3 things that I felt like we're going to start seeing more of in these next upcoming years. I said I think more people are going to start focusing on the base colors of their animals. You're going to see more visual 3 recessive gene hognose snakes. And the third thing, I think super Arctic is going to be incorporated in a lot of like double recessive visuals. Like you have the Arctic and super Arctic Mai Tais. I've seen the super Arctic snows and the frosted super Arctics. So in your opinion, what are some of the things that you see that are going to happen in the future?
Well, like you said, Super Arctic's going to probably be in about everything. Um,
Yeah.
One of the things, unfortunately, that Super Conda does is it removes patterns, so you can pretty much just change that base color a little bit. Um, in the future, you said something very interesting, though. I think line breeding is going to become part of the future as well. Lemon Ghost stuff, extreme red stuff. Even green line stuff that can kind of be associated with Lemon Ghost. I think that's going to become very popular, and then mixing those in with the albino gene and sable, every single gene out there. But the future for me, something that I'm most excited about is man, the lab sable stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
I think that stuff is going to be hot over the next few years. I was really impressed with the ones that I made this year and how they've colored up. I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg with some of that combination right there, and then adding more genes into that. Something that I've been working on for the past couple of years was actually storm cloud lavenders, and I think those are going to be incredible. What my goal is to do, storm clouds come out pretty blue as it is, and lavenders, they come in quite a bit of variation, just with the different base colors that you use. You can have red lavenders, you can have blue lavenders, you can have purple lavenders. I work with a lot of the blue stuff, so I want to try and make a true blue hognose snake, and I'm excited to see kind of what those 3 genes do together. Philippe overseas, he's got those skull faces. I think those will be a very interesting gene to get over here and play around with some of this cool stuff we have over here. Um, the sky's the limit, Jermaine. I mean, ball pythons and corn snakes are where they're at currently, and all those genes are floating around there somewhere in these hognose snakes. We just have to unlock them. So I think with more people coming online, more people breeding these guys, we're going to see newer color mutations come out, and that's exciting to me. And I don't get upset about anybody making that new stuff, man. I think it's really cool. Uh, it builds excitement, in the community. If someone produces some brand new color mutation, there's someone that may have made something new recently as well here in the United States. And what's his name? Steve John Steve or Steve John or
St.
something.
John, yeah.
Man, he made a really killer looking snake, man. It's
Yeah,
like
I made a video about that. About
yeah,
that much.
yeah, he I was just so impressed with that animal, and I talked to him an extent about it, about what he should do with it and stuff. And I said, man, at all costs, don't get rid of that snake, man. I was like, I think you've got something special there, and he could really do some wonderful things with it. So, um, the future is bright for hognose snakes, that's for sure.
Yeah, that particular snake, I was asking other people what their thoughts of it was, and people were saying maybe super Arctic frosted, but I've seen some of those people have hatched them out this year, and they don't look like that snake.
No,
Right.
So
no,
I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, I remember Kevin Rhodes, he's the one that told me about his Instagram page, and I saw he only had like 30 followers, and I was just blown away by that whole clutch. And I was like, I reached out to him. I was like, I need to put this on a YouTube video just to give you more exposure and just show people these cool snakes, because seeing stuff like that gets people motivated.
yes,
This is what gets people in the hobby and what keeps people in the hobby.
Yeah.
yeah, no, exactly, and that's why I applaud him. he made some really cool snakes. He's going to be doing that breeding again next year, so hopefully he can replicate it, and maybe it's something new. But there's just so much potential out there. That the gene pool is pretty big here in the United States, so we should see some new stuff popping out. I would say almost yearly, if not every other year, a brand new color mutation. So it's very interesting. Mitch just hatched something very cool out. It came from a lemon ghost het sable times the same, and I don't even know what it is. I mean, it could be a lemon ghost sable, but it's got absent side pattern and all kinds of wacky stuff going on with it. So we'll kind of see what happens there as well. So
All right. And AJ, was there any particular state snake that stood out the most to you this year that hatched out?
This year. Um, well, of course, John's new potential morph, you know, uh, that one is just so gorgeous. But probably the Super Conda Arctic Mai Tai. Stunning animal, hands down. And I say that because last year my favorite morph, I would have to say, is the Arctic Conda Mai Tai, just because of the rich coppers that come through on it. And the Super Conda version is every bit of that, with a beautiful stripe down it. It's a top-notch animal for sure. And yeah, that one. Not sure. It's weird because some of my favorites aren't even crazy morphs for other people, because I'm exposed to so much of each morph that I can kind of see differences. So I more have like a favorite of each morph, I guess. Like we produced a lot of sunbursts this year. There's one that really stands out that we're holding back, and it is just such this rich red, deep, contrasty sunburst that
and it's just a normal. I mean,
it
just a normal
right.
sunburst, but I mean, it's just a sunburst.
It's
There's
beautiful.
no other color mutations affecting it. It's not Arctic. It's not Conda. But it's this female sunburst that is just a 10.
And
she is amazing. So
I think that's where you're going to see a lot of these wild colors coming from, is the breeders that are capable of breeding more of a higher end morph, and they can cherry pick their one or two out of all of those that are just in their collection top notch. And the differences that are going to happen there, I think, are what I'm most excited for.
yeah,
Really.
Lemon Ghost too.
Yeah,
I love Lemon Ghost stuff,
Love it.
man.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, you've got some, man. You've got some womas and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? Yeah,
I just got a new one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lemon Ghost is, I think, just such an underappreciated morph. And, some of them hatch out and people are like, that Lemon Ghost is kind of ugly. But, man, I tell you what, they turn into a very special animal when they get bigger. I've got some that are, highlighter yellow background with just inked on black banding on them. And they're just absolutely beautiful. I would like to see a lot more things get mixed in with Lemon Ghost. I think it would just make incredible animals. I know Gail Woods made some albino lemon ghosts that are almost pure. I'd say they're probably about like 80%. You can always get there. Can you get back to 100%? From original line, probably not ever. But you can make yellow animals just like those first gen ones. It just takes time. You keep back your best yellow ones, you breed them together, and now you got ones that are even yellower than those, and just line breeding. So
Okay. And so kind of going back to like the new morph or the weird one that you hatched out, what is the process of proving out a new gene? And how long does that take before you to know, okay, this is recessive or incomplete dominant?
Well, unfortunately, it's a female, so that makes it a little bit tougher. With a male, you can breed it to a couple different females to really see what's going on. I would say if it's a male, you can figure stuff out in probably 3 to 4 years. If it's a female, it's going to take probably 4 to 6 years to really know what's going on with that animal. I'm going to replicate the breeding again this next year and see if I can make another one. But so far that's about the timeline it's going to take, because if it ends up being a recessive gene, you have to make hets and then, potentially breed them back into each other. That's why if there's ever a new color mutation, it's way better if it's a male, just because you can outcross that to a couple females pretty quickly and have half siblings. I hate inbreeding. Line breeding is inbreeding as well, but I hate, keeping the gene pool too close. So that's why, if you've ever talked to me on the phone or anything, I focus on outcrossing everything. So it's gonna be a long road for me with mine, but it's fine. Nothing but time. Nothing but time.
Okay. And when you the female is ready to breed, would you breed her to a normal male, or would you breed her to like a color mutation? Like, what would be like the easiest to determine if it's like an actual new gene?
Well, a normal would be good, but I've already got a plan for her, unfortunately. So she popped out just something weird. So I'm gonna make sure she doesn't have any sable influence. So I'm going to actually breed a visual sable to her to just see, if anything comes out like that, just in case sable was floating around in there. She looks way different than any sable, but what I want to do is prove that she's not sable, more than anything. So I already have her male picked out for when she's older, and I'm going to be breeding a lab sable head albino, since she's a visual albino, and just kind of cross all those buckets with one breeding and just see what's going on.
And then make some incredible project animals.
Yeah, just make some really cool project animals. If it does end up being something new, we'll take time to see, but hopefully it's recessive, but I would like to know if it's incomplete dominant. We'll know that first generation if that's the case. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even think about trying to cross out some of the genes instead of like breeding it to a normal. But yeah, if you think that it could possibly have sable in it to see, you'll know the first generation if it has sable, if you breed
right.
it to visual sable.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do with that. Because when it first hatched, I said, "Oh man, there was a sable egg in there. I got a sunburst hatching." Now I went back and looked, and there was no, sunburst or even any sable complex eggs laid that week when that clutch came. So then I got closer and looked at it. I said, "Man, that doesn't look like a sunburst head either. It looks completely different." So it came all the way out of the egg and everything, and that's when I knew. I actually called Jeff Galewood all excited at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, "Man, I think I got something new here. I don't know what it is." And I put him on a video call with me, and he's like, "Man, that looks really unique, man. I don't know what it is, but it looks like something new." So uh, yeah, I'll have to get you over some updated pictures of it as it's grown. I mean, that thing it took unscented from the get go and is just smashing food, and it's getting big pretty quick. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I now have a Patreon account for those who want to support me even further. Here you will have access to exclusive videos, giveaways, as well as discounts. The link will be in the bottom in the description. And if you purchase Reppy links, feel free to use the discount code ShovelHogs to receive 5% off of all purchases.